start off your list?
For me, I'm going to start off with the Pistons, which I think what my Christmas list for them is going to be is basically obvious. Cade Cunningham to come back from his injury and not being...
Isn't it?
What?
Let me interrupt. Isn't it season end? Didn't they roll him out for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
He had season-ending shin surgery.
On his shin, yeah.
Yeah.
Shin, yeah.
So him coming back from injury and that leg, of course, being able to hold up. And, of course, him to be able to live up to his expectations. He's not being the Cade Cunningham that everybody thought he was going to be. He seems to fall more into, like, the Andrew Wiggins category. He's a good player, but he's not... He's a good player, but he's not a star player.
Adam coming out of the gate with a hot take on the first one.
That is a hot take.
I think the difference between Wiggins and Cade is pretty evident. I think that positionally they're completely different players, obviously, but Cade came out perfectly fine. There wasn't a ton of expectations going to Detroit. We knew they were still going to be rebuilding for a while. Wiggins was going into a good situation, and he floundered out of the gate. I wouldn't say Cade has floundered at all. I'd say that he's performed exactly like I expected him to. I think he's got a lot of room to grow, but he's only played 2 seasons so far, and one of them was obviously only 2 weeks, but...
Yeah, and that's where I get into what my actual hot take I thought was going to be, which is, if he does come back playing like he did or better, I think the Pistons are only 2 or 3 seasons away from winning the championship.
I think that depends on where their draft pick falls, because obviously...
Well, now it's going to fall because Cade Cunningham's out.
Right, but we still have the lottery to get through, and you have a better shot of getting the first overall pick from the field. But with Cade being out, obviously their tank is going to be full-blown, but if they end up with that second overall pick, I mean, you have to take the best player overall, and that, as of now, a lot can change between now and the draft, but as of now, that's Scoot Henderson. They've already got Cade, they've already got Jaden Ivey. Do they want to take another guard?
See, I don't think you do.
You don't. So if their pick falls to that second, they're either trading down or drafting someone that isn't the best player available.
Obviously, I think this is one of the situations where it would just be easiest to say they won't win Victor.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I think when you have a team like the Pistons or even out west with, hilariously right now, the Utah Jazz, it's fair to say that they want Victor because of where they are as a franchise. I'm glad you didn't just say Victor, but I do think that would have been a fair one. That was actually one of the ones I was expecting when I was talking about that.
Yeah.
It feels like we were interrupting Angelo a lot right there, so do you have something to add?
Do you feel like the Pistons of the last 2-3 years and moving forward is the closest thing we've seen to the 76ers, was it Sam Presti, the process? Do you think that's the closest thing we've seen to it? Because I think it is.
I think it's the closest thing we've seen to it. Obviously, it's not... It's close to it, but it's nothing
it's
like
not,
that.
It's not the exact same, though.
Yeah, it's shades of, as we say in 2K. But it's not anything like that Tank Fest.
I think it's more along the lines of the Charlotte Hornets.
That's fair.
So what, they just draft busts all the time?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't worry, guys. This one's going to work. But at least this time, like, we know a shin surgery isn't exactly a career-threatening surgery. We know Cade's going to come back. He's already averaging 20 points this season. He's shooting about the same as last season. We should expect him to get better. But no matter what, we know Cade is not a bust. Jaden Ivey looks really good out of the gate.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he's a bust. I've never said he was a bust. I'm just saying
No.
he never lived up to the expectation that at least I thought he was going to live up to.
I think when you're an undersized guard, especially when in recent years all of the top picks have been bigs or forwards, there's an expectation that they're going to come out and physically dominate, and when you're an undersized guard, that's not the case. And I think the speed of the game from college to pros is so drastic that even if you're a good shooter in college, once you get to the pros, people are closing out on you a lot faster, and I think that takes a lot of time to adjust.
I have a problem with you saying that. 6'6" is an undersized guard.
I was about to say the same thing.
He plays undersized. He plays undersized.
Okay.
Because he's a very shifty player.
I don't know. I just think he needs to raise his 3-point percentage up. Obviously.
And I think that comes with time.
Yeah, and it's going to. I mean, everybody learns how to shoot throughout their career, unless your name's Shaq. Or
Shaq had a couple of those. Shaq had a couple of those things.